So here I am live again, and even Facebook Live on my desktop that won't stop me delivering this live today because it's really super important. So welcome back to the podcast. I'm super tired. I've been away all week, as you've seen on my social media. I've been working at a place called Grantham in the UK at an amazing castle called Beaver Castle, and I've been working there doing some personal work with the Duchess of Rutland's, lots of spiritual work on the land and deep meditations and body activations with her, which has been amazing, and to do some more work there throughout this year and next year, and we'll be making an announcement about that soon. But what I really am here to talk to you about is this week's energy forecast. There is big, intense energies this week, and boy, am I feeling them. It feels like since I came back, I had an issue with my residency card that was lost at the till, at the gates coming into the airport, and then I've come home and there's been accounts attacked by something in my gym, and then I've just had this ongoing barrage of kind of things to sort out, and I think it's related to the Aries stellium. So you're probably hearing that it's a really powerful field we're in, purely because Aries is like the beginning of the zodiac. It's the beginning. It's got lots of fiery energy in it. And not only is it the beginning, not only is it full of fire, which is all about activation and go, we've got 5-7 planets in there at the moment. So I'll talk to you about what's sitting in Aries and why this is so powerful and what this highly concentrated energy is going to be doing and how it will make you feel. So we're feeling a lot of pressure, urgency. There's activation in you. There might be some big decisions coming up. There might be something circling around you that you sat with, maybe the illusions that you've been feeling, or maybe some more shadows coming up. That would all be part of it, indeed. But this week isn't about thinking, it's really about doing and acting. So if you're not quite sure, it would be, I've got some decisions to make this week, but I'm still going to act in the way that I need to act. So I'm still packing up. I'm still kind of getting the jobs done that I know I need to do, even though some of the landscape might be changing for me. So Aries, like I've said, beginning, the start. It's about your identity, who you are, your instinct and your purpose, life purpose, becoming in motion. So that means you asking yourself, who am I? And what am I going to do about it? Or who do I want to become? And what am I doing about it? So which planets are in Aries? So I'm going to take a couple of minutes with each one because each one's going to affect you this week. The sun, being the main energy in this Aries field, is going to be your identity being activated. Who am I? What do I stand for? Try to make that clear this week. I'm looking above me at the picture of the mystic, and the mystic is really, she's got a certain agenda. A job with herself is really clear. And I want you to think about that yourself. Who are you? What's your archetype? I've got a course called Becoming the Archetype. It's a quick 1-hour video and it helps you become the archetype. So just think about this identity. If you were to be one of these, like I've got on my wall, there it is, then who would you be and what do you stand for and what does that role mean? So becoming the archetype, becoming your identity, Aries really calls for it. This is asking you to have the desire to step forward within that identity that you're claiming, or within the archetype that you want to activate as you move through. So I exist as this archetype, I exist as this person, and I lead and I move forward in my life as that, as this new bigger role, this new bigger version of you that you maybe have been scared of in the past. So that's the sun activating the who am I, what am I doing here, And then we've got the moon in Aries as well. Now, the moon brings the emotional fire. It also brings the shadow. It brings up some of those things we'd rather not see. So within the moon and the emotions, we're going to be feeling that we could potentially possibly be triggered. We might be more emotional. We might be quick to be angered or more reactive. We might find that we're impatient. But what it's asking us to do is to express ourselves truthfully, not to suppress these emotions. Do not suppress them. Do not. Have emotional honesty with people. Say, this is how I feel. And know that your feelings really aren't about being right or wrong. And you need to get over that. But you need to really, truly think about how you're feeling and expressing that to the other person without making it about them or you've made me feel this way. But just to say how you feel, that would be really a good way to think about the moon. Be careful of your shadows. Be careful about your expression of emotion being an attack on somebody, because that's going to bring you into kind of like the emotional side, the shadow side of the moon, rather than the emotional side, which is what we want. We've also got Mercury and Aries, and Mercury is about the mind. It brings us into thinking. So it's asking you in this energy of this stellium to be faster thinking, to not be in mental loops going round and round and round, but to be fast in your thinking, quick of mind, I might say, is a better phrase for that. And then to speak more bluntly, to actually speak some places, we've just mentioned feelings, but to speak some places from the mind. So this is what I think about this. Each has its place. The problem is with the thinking function is that we overuse it these days in this humanity. We've totally forgot how to sink into our emotions. So really think about, what am I thinking? And that thinking is really good for directions, isn't it? For like more directive, for less, if I was thinking about thinking, it might be in my career. I might really think about some things, but I wouldn't necessarily be overthinking in relationships. It's going to take more emotional processing. So where do you need to think rather than feel, and vice versa this week? Try to use that kind of intelligence. Be less tolerant. So being more firm about your boundaries, for example, and what you will and won't do, or what you want or what you believe. And you won't want to overprocess things. You'll really want to just like act on them, do them, because that will allow this week for truth to come out very quickly. So that's the Mercury. Then we've got Mars in Aries. So Mars is the masculine energy that brings in action. It brings in drive. It's the testosterone. I always think of Mars as the testosterone in us. It brings the vitality. And it's the testosterone that's needed in spring, because the testosterone brings the fertility. It brings the active spark of life that impregnates and creates. So it's a time for us to use that testosterone to get the movement to move forward, to actually do something. And this need to move more physically and energetically is going to be part of this Mars. So if you're feeling the little lazy part of you that can't be bothered, then know that Mars energy can really help you get shifted and begin to move. It will also really help with any blocked frustrations or blocked energy. And I think the best mantra for Mars is I act and I go, 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 like it's asking us to go at the moment. So the next piece really is Saturn. Now, Saturn's energy is giving us a reality check. It's giving us pressure to grow. It's saying to us, you can't stay where you are. You can't keep acting like you've been acting. You can't keep doing what you've been doing. Something needs to change. And that's your responsibility. It's up to you to change life. It's up to you to change circumstances. And it's up to you to move things that you feel aren't best for you, or move things that feel stuck. And that asks for not only responsibility, but for your discipline. Are you disciplined? Are you spending time doing the things that are important that will shift your life? Or are you spending the time still doing the things that are destructive to you and actually keep you stuck. So ask that question to yourself. This is going to really help you build resistance, resilience, strength, and maturity as Aries sits in Saturn sits in Aries, as it asks us all to grow. Then what we've got is Neptune. So Neptune is in Aries as well. It's a big, big deal. It's so intense, all these planets being in that sign. And this is about, is this a vision? Do I see this clearly? Am I seeing it? Or is this about you being in an illusion? Are you seeing something clearly, or are you in an illusion about it? And this calls in our spiritual calling, our inspirations, our imaginations. And for me, I think this week with regards to Neptune, it's just being careful that you're not romanticizing things, that you're not in illusionary fantasy about it, but you're in a cold, stark reality. We do love to fantasize about certain ideas, people, places, dreams. But like, if we root them in reality with Neptune, we're not going to find ourselves in difficult positions later on. So be really aware later on that if you've based something in a fantasy, it's not going to work out for you. It will reveal itself. So if there's confusion this week, sit with it. Don't act in the confusion. Get some clarity. Know that confusion often is because something isn't clear that needs to be made clear. And watch that you're not projecting things outside of yourself, and also that you're not projecting on other people, you know, like it's them, rather than taking ownership and saying it's about you. And then finally, not being in fantasy. Fantasy can really take us off course because it's not rooted in any real action or real ability to bring in manifestation. So be careful of that. What is real? And where am I trying to escape? That's key. And being in this spiritual world and doing this work for me has been over nearly 30 years now. And honestly, in 30 years, I have been in these delusions of using things to escape. I have used spirituality to heal and also to escape. So have a think around where you might be using things to escape. And then last but not least, we've got Chiron in Aries, and Chiron is the key here this week. Amongst all of that I've just shared, those other planets, this is where Chiron is showing us what is the wound that you've been living from. You know, we've just been in a 9-year cycle, really. You know, for some of us it's been 7, some of us it's been 9. What's that wound that you've been living in all those years that now wants to really heal itself? So I did some work with someone the other day that was a big ancestral wound that has been showing itself in her life over many, many years. And that ancestral wound was being asked to be healed. There was somebody last week that I worked with that was really in a relationship wounds and how she had been kind of in dysfunctional relationships with men, and that was being asked to change this week as we move forward. And then someone else who was also just in the wound of unworthiness, constantly believing that she wasn't good enough to move forward into what she actually wanted to move forward into. So name your wound this week. What wound have you been operating in, and what is that wound asking you to heal and to do with your life? So this is important. This is easily identified because it's been the place of sensitivity for you over the last years. You've been really sensitive about it. It's been coming up in your life over and over again. And in that place, whether it's a relationship or the way you behave or a family thing, you feel not enough. You don't feel good enough. That might lead us into those like outsider wounds, the imposter wounds, the things that stop us moving forward into what I said at the beginning of this call, the place you are being asked to step into, the who am I, why am I here, What purpose am I serving on this planet? Knowing that every single person on this planet has a service to the world, has a purpose, has a greater sense of who they are on a soul and an archetypal level. And that's why I go on about working with your psychological archetype. And as I said, I'll drop the link in for becoming the archetype underneath, which is actually asking in our collective, not just for you to be the policeman, the teacher anymore, even though they're much needed. But like me, I was a teacher and I had to embody a new teacher, which was the spiritual teacher. I couldn't escape it. It kept coming up and up and up, and my wounding just stopped me dropping into that fully. And I'm committing to that even further as I take on this big, huge contract that I will sign this summer to bring in one of the biggest places of mystery and well-being. So if I hadn't recognized this wound, which Chiron is trying to make very visible, I wouldn't have been able to be offered this role or step into it. So what is it that you are avoiding about yourself? What do you not own archetypally about yourself? And what wound is it that is absolutely preventing you from moving forward in your full power or full essence, as I like to say? So in Aries, the wound is around identity. What your identity is. Can you identify yourself and say, this is exactly the archetype I'm taking forward, and these are the traits that includes, and also the type of things it's asking me to do. Then I want you to think about the confidence you need to go forward with the work that is being asked of you. So I've wrote all these down. I will put them under the video. What do you feel about being seen? How do you feel about being seen in what you want to do? And then the next bit would be about taking action. Where are you not taking action into being this archetype, into being the who am I? Where are you not taking action? And then you could ask yourself, what action do I actually need to take to be this version of myself as I move forward? What is that action? And I think really what these energies in Aries, all these planets in Aries at the moment, are really asking us to exist fully, to be fully you. And that was why I did all the Jungian work over the last 7 years. The Jungian psychology strips back all your wounds, all your projections on yourself, all your childhood trauma, all your imprints, so you can actually get to the point where you can see who you truly are. That's individuation. This is the new way we go forward in spirituality. No more bypassing, pretending we are somebody, but really finding out who the root of who we are is and becoming it and be fully freaking seen in it. So anything that is, I can't do it, I might get it wrong, it's too big, it's too complicated, it's too whatever, is keeping you away. Stop that now. Stop all them. It's too big. It's too frightening. It asks too much of me. And I'm saying that as I am packing up a big 5-bedroom property in the middle of nowhere with all gardening equipment on my own to move somewhere that's much smaller but much bigger for me. And I'm thinking, holy moly, can I do this? Can I? I can. It's just going to be difficult. And that's what usually stops us. It usually stops us when something is difficult, when something is uncomfortable. We usually stop it. So do it. Get out of your comfort. Get out of the easy. Get out of your lack of confidence. Get out of all of those things and step in to that very thing that's calling you. We've done lots of healing as a collective. The people in my groups, I know you're all doing healing work, your breath work, you're facing your shadows and your wounds and the smallness. And now it's asking us in Chiron, okay, the healing you've done, use it. Use what healing you have done so far to step into this action this week. So the core dynamic, Mars, Neptune, Saturn, act, dream about what you need to act in, but make it real and take the actions that it's needing for you. I think what would go wrong, I'm sorry, my glasses have all gone loose and I'm having to keep pushing them up on my face. I think the shadow of what could happen here, what could go wrong, is that you react instead of respond. You start fighting the wrong battles that aren't yours or anything to do with you, that you act in impulsiveness rather than intuition and instinct, and that you move. Remember, we're in the year of the fire horse too, but you are not running a race. You are moving steadily and you are trying to avoid burnout. Do not go into burnout because you won't get anything done. And then finally, I think the biggest thing I sat with this week when I was writing this report, I was feeling that the one big thing would be fear that stops you, unworthiness and not feeling good enough and being in your comfort, and all of that really boils down to fear. So really address your fears. Where are you in fear? Where are you trying to be comfortable and not take risks? Being around the Beaver Castle where I was last week, I see people that are often successful taking huge risks, actually, financially, emotionally, spiritually. That's how people grow. They don't sit in the comfort of ease. They live outside the box of fear. So take the invitation. If something very scary comes to you, take it, because it'll grow you in ways that you couldn't imagine. And I wrote down some key things here that I'm just going to make sure that you understand. The growth edge of us is about building strength. And when we've got the growth edge of us, it asks us to take action. It will make us feel uncomfortable and there will be risk taking. You will take a risk. So this is not about being reckless or stupid risks, those kind, but really about being courageous. And courage has come up in my reports over the last couple of weeks. Courageous, risk-taking, being uncomfortable and taking action. So to summarize, Aries is action. That's the energy we're in Aries. Mars is your drive. Saturn is your pressure to do this. Neptune is the vision you have. And the Chiron is the wound that will stop you. This week is a moment where you're asked to move, even when you're feeling everything, especially discomfort and fear. So big week. What you do this week bloody matters. It bloody matters. So really try to take those risks and make some movements. If this week is apathetic and you're not moving, really you're going to not take the biggest opportunity that we've got to really start to bring this part of us forward that the world so needs. Because remember, the world's not just working for you individually. The world is working with you on a much bigger scale as well. So there we go. That's week's energy report. Bon chance for you. Good luck. Really hope that you all step into this great power that's being asked of you. I will start by getting my glasses fixed, I promise you. And I will look forward to seeing and speaking to you all next week. Big love. And take care with all this energy. And just as a reminder, my Sacred Sexuality group and class is starting in May. This is a big opportunity for women to work in this energy that's asking us to step into that libido and that big erotic energy that we all hold. And I am doing a Q&A class. I've posted that today in the group where you're all invited to join. And I will be doing the 13 roses through your body as an activation. So if you're thinking about joining me, the details of that class will be posted underneath. And I look forward to speaking to you all next Tuesday night when I will do that free Zoom for you all. So take care, much love, and bye for now.